All right, hello. Let me get all set up here and then we'll get into this. And as always, I'm gonna start this video off just explaining to you guys that may be new. I've never been on one of my live broadcasts, kind of what it is. The live broadcast is just kind of an Ask Me Anything session. I don't really have a specific topic planned. I just kind of let the chat actually dictate how the video is going to go. Sorry, I'm trying to set up here at the same time, do two things at once. So if I do miss your chat, don't get it responded to, leave it again. I'll do my best to get it responded to. I try to respond to every single chat that comes in, do my best. And we got a couple people joining in already. So let's get into it. Hey, Walter and Branscombe. There we go, Branscombe Farm. Always have a hard time with that. Hey guys, Christian Acevedo, huh? Hopefully I got that right. Christian, hello to you. Let's see, Lana's here. Wesley is here. Hello. Tay. Sup, Red. Oh, what's up, Red? There we go. London here. London, nice. What time is it in London right now? You're staying up late to join us. Kinfolk Farm is here. Hello. LLJ, hey there. And Rebecca, hello to you too. We got about 20 people in here right now. And Tay, wave back at you. And Janice, howdy, how are you? Good to see you guys. Hopefully everybody's having a great week. Man, it has been busy for me. Incredibly busy. Well, that's all. Just busy. That's okay though. I got a little bit of time. Finally, just made it home about half an hour ago, a little over. Got home just in time to do a live broadcast tonight. I will tell you guys next week, I probably will not get one out. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But I am out of the country in the Dominican Republic next week for work, and chances are we'll not get a live video out. We'll see. Who knows? All right. Who we got here? Chief Og. There we go. Chief Og Garage. There we go. Cheers to you too. News Algeria. Good grief. News Algeria. There we go. I can't read tonight for some reason. Tom Wolf. And let's see, Tay says, love your channel. Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Rebecca says, you doing any indoor gardening this year? No, I don't really do indoor gardening. Not really. My wife has a bunch of house plants, but that's not really what I consider gardening. But no, if you're going to do indoor gardening, you're going to need, well, it depends on what you're going to grow. You can definitely grow like salad greens and those kinds of things indoors, just in like nursery flats. They're pretty easy to grow. Harvest them early. Microgreens would be another thing that's pretty easy to grow. You will need some light setups to keep the things from getting leggy. I've kind of talked about that before. These are just a couple of shop lights. You can see them behind me. Put them down, I mean, just almost touching the plants. And you're going to have to move them up as the plants grow, of course. But those will do just fine. Now, if you want to grow things like that are going to flower and fruit, like, you know, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, what else? Just about anything else that flowers and fruits, then you're going to need full spectrum lighting, which is a little bit more expensive. You know, it's not good enough to just set them in a window. You're going to need some kind of full spectrum light to get them to actually flower and produce a fruit. So that's the thought on indoor gardening. I don't really do any indoor gardening. I am starting a fall garden, trying to start one. I've been slow to get to it because I've been so busy. But I do have some, let's see, some Brussels sprouts, some spinach, some romaine lettuce, and something else, cabbage, all started. We'll see how it goes, if it sprouts out, if I can keep an eye on it and keep it alive, because being gone for a week next week and all that. If I didn't wait too long, we got, you know, the frost coming up in a little less than a month is our average first frost date. I do have some weather protection I'll put out, but anyway, we'll address that in future videos to see how that goes. So, all right. PA Outdoorsman, hello to you. Hope you're doing well as well. That's kind of weird, but and Kenneth, hey there. I'm doing well. Hopefully you are. Christian says, will you ever get bobwhite or button quail? Probably not bobwhite, because bobwhite require a permit in order to raise them. Probably not button quail either. Two reasons for both of those. I don't know that button quail require a permit. I don't think they're a native bird. I don't know if they are or not, actually. I'd have to look into that and see. But bobwhite do require a permit because they are a native bird. And any kind of native bird to the U.S., wild bird, you have to have a permit in order to raise. At least everywhere I'm aware of, you do. Not only that, but they're just not nearly as prolific. They don't lay as many eggs. They don't breed as readily. There's just a lot of reasons why I go with Quaternics. They lay more eggs, they're more prolific. You can hatch their eggs out. They're ready to butcher in 8 weeks. They're fast grow outs. I mean, it's just all around a better bird if you're raising for meat purposes. Now, if you want to raise bob whites or buttons because you like them, go for it. No, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but that's why I don't do it personally. All right, so where are we at here? I'm missing. Okay, there we go. Silent Wayne says, good evening to everyone in here. Well, hello to you. And Antonio Garcia says, hey, Chris, I'm going to do my homework. Come later. You skipped your homework to come in and hang out with us during the live broadcast. Part of me says, thank you very much. And the parent part of me says, well, you probably should get your homework done first. But hey, hopefully it's not too much homework. Make sure to get it done. Don't miss out on it. Don't use me as an excuse for not doing your homework. I don't want to see you fail in school or anything like that. But thank you for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate that. Just like I said, be responsible, get your responsibilities done. All right. Tay, it's 1 a.m. Good grief, man. Thanks for staying up late and coming and hanging out with us. Doug says, hello, Chris. I can't get above a 20% hatch rate on my quail. Temp and humidity are great. Just wondered if you have any tips. Eggs were from KC Quail. 20% hatch from those eggs also. Okay. Generally speaking, temperature is going to be the main thing. So when you say temperature is great, how are you measuring your temperature? Are you just relying on the incubator itself to measure the temperature for you? Because if you are, there's a good chance that your incubator may be reading the temperature a little bit wrong. I always recommend getting 2 additional non-digital, dial type thermometers. Make sure you calibrate them first, which I'm going to try to get a video out Monday night about how to calibrate a thermometer for incubation. And where was I at? I lost my train of thought. Oh, get 2 external thermometers. Make sure you calibrate them. Make sure they're accurate. Put them in your incubator. Make sure that it's reading correct. And then you would need you would just verify that your incubator is reading correct. You may have to adjust it a little bit. My incubator right now is reading correct. At least the last time I checked. I'll be checking it again here pretty quick to make sure. But I have had in the past where it was off by a degree or 2 and I had to adjust it down a degree or 2 or up a degree or 2. So that's generally the biggest reason why with a failed hatch, especially if you're getting eggs from like a reputable deal like KC Quail Farms. So that's my recommendation. Verify that your incubator is reading correctly. So hopefully that kind of helps with that. I do have a whole series. If you go back to my homepage and look under storing and hatching eggs, there's a whole series on how to store eggs and how to hatch them out. You might watch that series, see if there's anything maybe in there that will help. That's my best advice right offhand with the limited information I have. Hopefully that helps. All right. Jesse says, greetings, oh wise one. Well, I don't know. Don't give me a big head or anything. I don't know about that. Can we talk about rabbits for a minute? Yes, we can talk about rabbits for a minute. What do you want to talk about? Let me know and we'll do that. Joe says, it's my birthday. I turned 63. Dang, I'm feeling old. Well, Joe, you don't look any older than anybody else in here. So not by the name and the avatar anyway. Happy birthday to you. Thanks for sharing your birthday with us. And let's see, what is today? The 13th of September. I don't know if that's other than your birthday. I don't know. You may just have your birthday all to yourself then. You don't have to share it with any other holidays or big events or any of those kinds of things. So happy birthday, man. All right. Allison says, hi, Chris. I just had one doe. This is her first litter. She had 10 babies this morning, and all are doing good so far. I got to scroll this over so I can see what's going on. I'm so excited and hope they all make it. She built an awesome nest. Well, fantastic. Here, I will give you a word of warning, Allison. Congratulations, first of all, on your litter, and a big litter, 10 babies. That's an awful big litter. There's a good chance you might lose 1 or 2. Don't panic if that happens. That's just an awful lot for one rabbit to take care of, and it's not uncommon for you to lose at least 1 in a big litter like that. It's very common, so don't panic if that happens. I hope they all make it too. I hope it doesn't, but just know that if it does happen, it's nothing to worry about. It's not a bad sign that the mother's not taking care of them or any of that kind of stuff. It's just that's a whole lot for her to produce that much milk to take care of. Hopefully she does. And if she does, then you've got a great mother rabbit there. And congratulations on it. All right. Janice says, I have a doe that will not breed. All right. This comes up all the time. let's talk about what you do when you have a doe that won't breed. So what happens a lot of times, you put the doe in the buck's cage and she just either runs from him the whole time, or she kind of tucks down in a corner and just will not let him breed her. That's very, very common. A couple of things that you can try. The first thing, what's always worked for me pretty well, has been to just take the doe, put her in the male's cage, let him try. If she's not willing to breed, take her out, give her 15 minutes or so, maybe 20 minutes. Take her out, put her back in her cage. Then that evening, try it again. If she's not willing to breed, take her out, put her back in her cage. Again, give it 15, 20 minutes. Try it again the next morning. Try it again the next evening. Usually after about 4 or 5 attempts, she's willing to breed, no problem whatsoever. If that doesn't work, you may try just a couple more times. If that doesn't work, you might try adding some additional light. There is some thought, I've never really found it to necessarily be true, but there is some thought that rabbits will be more likely to breed when they have about 12 to 14 hours a day of light. So you may try to add some extra light to get her in the mood. Other things you can try, again, I've talked about this before. I have no idea why this works, but thousands of people, well, maybe not thousands, but I've heard many, many, many people just swear that this works to put a doe in the mood. Put her in a pet carrier, put her in your car, drive her around the block a couple of times, bring her back and put her in the male's cage. I have no idea why that would work, but that is supposed to be a good method to get them to breed. You can result with forced breeding if you need to, and that would be like hold the rabbit, the female, the doe, put your hand underneath her and kind of lift her back end up. It's a little bit tricky to do. Sometimes your buck's a little shy, doesn't want to breed in that situation, but you can do that if you want to. I've never had to resort to that. I don't like to have to do that, but it is you know, a method you could use if you need to. If she's a first-time doe especially, she may be a little bit reluctant. Just be persistent. Usually that's going to fix it for you. What else was I going to say about that? Okay, rabbits in general are just kind of induced breeders, so it's not like they don't go into heat or anything like that. And it's usually the act of breeding that actually gets them in the mood to breed and causes them to, the act of breeding itself is what causes them to drop their eggs and all those kinds of things. So sometimes it just takes a little while to get her in the mood. Usually that's going to work though. Right, Danny says, Doug, spray your eggs with 50% Listerine. Watch Chris's series on hatching. Okay, he's answering about the poor hatch rate. Yeah, that 50% Listerine, 50% water, that's a pretty good mixture to kind of kill any bacteria, prevent infections. If you're only getting a 20% hatch rate, I don't know that that would be the only reason. My guess is going to be, again, temperature. But who knows? If you verified your temperature, then you know, then that's probably not it. So, all right, I'm a little behind on the comments, guys. Give me time. Be patient with me. If I miss your comment, then, like I said, leave it again. But where are we at here? Where are we at here from Salem? Oh, Salem, Jimmy from Salem, Missouri. One town north from Jadwin. I know where Salem is. I've never heard of Jadwin, Missouri. I don't know where that is. Anyway, Ben Smith says, I watched your last video. I have a Hovabator 1602N and incubate with plugs in for one reason. I literally live in the middle of the desert and I open the vents when I go in to lockdown. Okay, well, that makes sense. I think it's a good idea to leave the plugs open, but I see what you're saying is that you probably lose humidity way too fast. There are some machines that you can buy that will regulate humidity inside an incubator. I don't know how much they cost. I've heard good reviews about them. It's basically a little hose that goes inside and a monitor, and when the humidity gets down, it adds some water. You could try something like that. That might work. But yeah, living in the desert, it may be difficult to get your humidity levels up and keep them up for sure. So, hey, if it's working for you, go ahead and keep doing it. Don't, I mean, I'm not claiming to be the absolute know-it-all on every single thing. I'm not going to tell you you're doing it wrong. I do like to take the plugs out, but then again, I don't live in the desert, so I should have taken that into consideration probably and talked about that in the video. But your point, take it out during lockdown because they definitely need that fresh air. All right, Chief Og Garage says, I used to grow cannabis indoor, LOL, in California, so legally. Interesting, okay. I've never grown cannabis myself, so I can't speak to that. Tom Wolf says, thanks, Chris. 145 quail in the freezer and counting. Silver fox ready to kindle as we speak. Canned 30 quarts of zucchini pickles. Canned all. See edit to you and your vids. Canned all. credit to you and your vids. There we go. Credit to you and your vids. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Pickled zucchini is great. It makes fantastic pickles. I mean, I do prefer the cucumbers just a little bit more, but zucchinis are really good. And the good thing about zucchini is, like, usually when you grow zucchini, you end up with so much extra. You're like, what do I do with all this zucchini? Pickle it. Makes great pickles. And you use the same recipe you use for, like, dill pickled cucumbers. And it's very good. So glad to hear. Congratulations on all your success there. And I'm glad that you found my videos helpful for that. Thank you. All right. Doug says, Danny, I've done all that. It seems to be a fertility issue. It was a fertility issue from Kansas City Quail Farm too. Interesting. I don't know that it would be a, let's see, Danny, we're talking spraying the eggs with 50% Listerine. Okay. I don't, I've had great luck with Kansas City Quail Farm's eggs. I don't know that it's a fertility issue. If your eggs never develop, that doesn't automatically mean it's a fertility issue. Again, it could be a temperature issue, but who knows? Maybe it is a fertility issue. It just seems like it would be weird that you would be getting a fertility issue time and time and time again more than once. So again, I go back, verify your incubator is reading the correct temperature. That's the first place I would start. Easiest fix usually. All right. Joe says, all my buck rabbits are sterile. It's been so hot in Oklahoma. Joe, are you sure they're sterile, or are you just assuming they're sterile? Yeah, the heat can definitely make your bucks go sterile. It's temporary. It's not a permanent sterility. Sterility, is that the right word? I don't know if it is or not, but if not, I just coined it. It's not a permanent thing that they'll be sterile forever. It's just anything over about 85 degrees can cause a buck to go sterile, but it's not a guarantee. So if you've tried breeding them and you're seeing successful fall-offs, and then they don't have, you don't end up with baby rabbits later, well, yeah, that's probably the case. Then hopefully it cools down. It's starting to cool down here. We had a nice cool week this week. It was only like, I think 80 degrees each day, 85 degrees, something like that, 86. So it was pretty nice. Doug says, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Chief Og, does Coturnics need a permit? No, Coturnics don't need a permit. They're not native wild birds. They're a domesticated quail. So you don't need a permit, at least nowhere that I'm aware you need a permit. There may be some city ordinances or some of those kinds of things that require it, but not on a national conservation department permit level. Nothing like that is required. All right, Doug Jurgen says 2 different calibrated thermometers and hydrometers, all analog. Okay, Doug, so we're going back to, yes, okay. So you've got 2 different calibrated thermometers. You've verified your incubator. Fantastic. You've done that right. The hydrometer, what's your humidity level maybe? Is your humidity too high? I'm having a hard time figuring out what could be your issue, unless your incubator may be, if it's in an area where it gets huge temperature swings, like if you've got it like outside in a garage where it's 80 during the day in the garage and then it drops down to the 50s at night, that may make your incubator difficult to kind of level out. It may be jumping up, fluctuating quite a bit. That's my best guess on that too. I'm not sure what else to point you out right off the bat. All right. Excuse me. Christian says, he didn't say that, I did. It says, my incubator is telling me that humidity is low, but the tray and the water are full. Okay, so your incubator's got a reading on there, and it actually tells you the humidity is low, like it's got an alarm that goes off, or you're reading the incubator humidity and you're reading it and saying it's too low yourself. Sometimes it can be difficult to get your humidity levels up. Usually that's not a problem. If you've got plenty of water in the incubator, then the dog heard something, got my eye. If you got plenty of water in the incubator, then you're probably going to be okay. You're probably going to be just fine. Where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, if you've got the water trays full and it's telling you that the humidity is low, I don't know that I'd worry about it too much. I think I would just trust it. Realize too that a hydrometer is not really 100% accurate on humidity. It can be sometimes way off actually. The only way to get real accurate humidity is to get relative humidity, and that requires a wet dry bulb. So basically it's like you have a thermometer with like a wick that goes into the water, and that will measure the temperature of the water, and then you have a thermometer that measures the temperature of the air, and then you do some math, and that tells you what the humidity actually is. So it may just be that your hydrometer is not reading it actually accurate. But again, if you've got a tray full of water, especially if the windows fog up, there's probably too much humidity in there. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would just leave it the way it is and see how that goes. All right, Let's see, I'm going to miss some comments here probably. I got to get down to where we're at. So if I miss your comments, sorry about that. Kinsey says, hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Hope all is well with you guys. As for some of you that are hit by the hurricane, my prayers are with you guys. I'm from Florida, so I know what you're going through. Very good point there, Kinsey. I forgot to mention that. Yes, absolutely. Prayers for those that are affected by the hurricanes coming through. Honestly, I haven't been watching the news enough on that, but I do know that there's some pretty serious storms coming. And probably hitting right now, actually, I think. And definitely prayers for you guys on that. It is hurricane season. And, you know, being from Joplin, Missouri, I know what storms can do. We don't get hurricanes, but we do get tornadoes. And they can be just as deadly. So definitely praying for you guys. Hopefully all is well. All right. Walter Camp's asking or answering somebody's comment that I must have missed. Says, Wesley, they do have some quail scissors. I assume that's for cutting the eggs open. All right, Samuel, it's Sam and Vicky, there we go, from Powell, Missouri. Again, one of my favorite places in the world. Walter Camp says, Doug, where do you live? We'll wait for the answer to that. All right, Branscombe Farm says, can you also try apple cider vinegar in the water, about 2 milliliters in a water bottle, 32 ounce. Helps with the gut of the rabbit also. I'm not sure who you're responding to there, but yeah, apple cider vinegar does have some health benefits to it. How much it helps, I'm kind of skeptical on. I don't know that it's really that big of a deal, but it's worth a try. All right, Doug's in North Georgia. Crystal Jenkins says, best way to check a rabbit for pregnancy, had 2 definite fall-offs, and she should be due on 10/5. Well, you can palpate a doe, but that's really, really hard to do, and it's very hard for me to explain. You basically reach up and you feel, and it's going to feel like you were probably putting the rabbit in pain. It's not putting her in pain, but you're going to, really feel under her belly. You're going to feel for some like grape size knots. But again, it's really, really hard to do. It takes a lot of practice. It's not something I can really explain. I kind of have to show you, and I don't mess with doing it. If you had successful fall-offs, chances are she's probably pregnant. What I would do is if she's due 10/5, somewhere around 10/1, I would start going out, throw a handful of straw in there, and if she picks it up, starts running around the cage with it, not like super fast running around the cage, but walking around the cage with it hanging out both sides of her mouth, it'll be pretty obvious what I'm talking about, then that's a almost for sure sign that she is pregnant. Get the nest box in there. You're gonna have to probably do that every day. Start about, maybe the last day of the month. Throw some straw in there. If she just ignores it, don't worry about it. Go back the next day, throw some straw in there, just a small handful. See if she does it. Go back the next day, and as soon as you see her start picking it up and running around with it in her mouth, put the nest box in and get ready. That's my best advice on that. All right, Jeremy says, could you show us or tell us the brand of quail feed you use? Okay, I do use a quail feed. I can tell you the brand. It's from a local feed store in a town about 20 miles from here in Neosho, Missouri. That what's it called? I can't remember. But anyway, you're not going to be able to get it unless you live in this area. You'd have to go to that store and pick it up. So it's probably not going to help you anyway. Don't worry so much about the brand of quail feed. They're all about the same. It's not that big of a deal. If it's a game bird starter, it's got over 25% protein, or close to 25% anyway, and preferably around 2% calcium. Although you can always supplement calcium, so don't make that a deal breaker. Then it's probably going to be just fine. It's not that big of a deal. Sorry, I can't be more specific with you, but that's such a good deal for me. I get it for, I think it's $12 a bag, 50-pound bag, and that's the cheapest I found. So that's where I get it from. All right, where are we at here? Walter Camp says, wish you were near me, would just give some of mine. I don't know who you're talking. Oh, Walter Camp's talking to Doug, and Doug about the quail. Yeah, if you were close by, I'd be happy to help you out, but North Georgia's a little ways to go. Ben has to drop out on us. Well, sorry, Ben. Glad you could make it for a little while, and hopefully we'll see you, maybe not next week. I may not be on, but the week after for sure. All right, the chick guy says, thank you for inspiring me. Right now I have 73 Bob White eggs in the incubator. Thank you for always answering my questions also. I have asked you a bunch of them. Hey, no problem. I do my best to try to answer everybody's questions. That is the reason why I do a YouTube channel, and that is the reason why I do these live broadcasts, because I do genuinely like helping people out, and this is a way for me to do that. All right, Sean Monahan says, hey, Chris, just got in. Just wanted to say hi, but I got some work to do. Have a good one, guys. Well, Sean, thanks so much for stopping by. Go get your work done, and hopefully it goes easy. Doug says, I appreciate it, Walter. I would definitely pick some up if I was. Yep. Katie says, do I need a license to raise or sell eggs and birds in Wyoming? Also, I have 2 quail eggs that are dusty looking while I'm incubating eggs. Okay. Do you need a license to raise or sell eggs and birds in Wyoming? I don't know. I don't live in Wyoming. I'm sorry. I just don't know for sure. I don't think you would need a license unless you're going to sell like huge amounts of them. Now, what that limit is, I really don't know. It should be pretty easy to look up and find out. And of course, depends on what kind of quail you're talking about. Coturnix should be fine. You should be able to sell eggs. You should be able to sell birds. You're just going to have to watch how many you sell. Usually in most areas, you don't need a permit or any kind of license to do that unless you do over like $5,000 worth of sales a year, or keep over so many numbers of birds or something like that. I don't know what those numbers are right offhand. I've looked it up for Missouri before, but I don't even remember it for Missouri because I'm nowhere near that. All right, Jeff, hello to you. Jeff Egg 2, I guess is what it is. B&M Chick says, hi, just finished hatching today, 60 plus quails. I lost count. Yeah, it's hard to count them whenever they hatch out. Congratulations on your hatch. Good job. Doug says, humidity has been 30 to 45%. I've recently switched to 24% humidity by adding no water. I dropped the temp in the incubator by 1 degree, and it delayed the hatch by 2 days. Well, Doug, depending on what day the hatch was already, that might have been the right move. But yeah, delaying or dropping your temperature can delay your hatch a little bit. But it could also cause poor hatch rates, just depending. Now, if your eggs are hatching really early to begin with, like on day 14 instead of day like 16, then yeah, that's probably the right move. And it delayed it to go to 16. That's probably good. 25% humidity is really not that bad. During lockdown, you probably wanted a little bit higher. But what you were saying earlier about the eggs weren't even developing, that's probably not your problem. So I wish I could just give you here's the answer, fix that. But it almost always goes back to temperature, but it sounds like you're on top of the temperature. I just don't know what else to tell you, unfortunately. All right, Joe Shelburne says, I just keep breeding them sterile bucks. Happens to me every year here in Oklahoma, but by November, I will get baby rabbits again. Yeah, that happens sometimes. You might look into some other breeds. There's a breed of New Zealand called Tamuk, T-A-M-U-K, Texas A&M something. I can't remember what it stands for. But it's a New Zealand white, but they're bred specifically for hot weather. They're very hot weather tolerant. They might be a little bit more receptive to breeding in the hot weather, not going sterile. So apparently they're supposed to be just fantastic. I've got somebody that does have some that I'm looking to buy some from, but it may be a while before I can get any, so we'll see. All right. Brian says, Chris, have your quail stopped laying? We're getting about 10 dozen a day. Tonight got 14 eggs. No, mine haven't stopped laying, but I do have some lights that I put out there whenever they do slow down to kind of keep them laying for a while if I'm looking for eggs. Sometimes I turn the lights off because, honestly, I can't hardly eat all the eggs that come out of them. But yeah, they haven't stopped laying yet. Production's it's sporadic. It's starting to get a little bit sporadic. Some days I'll get more eggs. Some days I'll get a little bit less eggs. And I guarantee it's because the days are starting to get a little bit shorter. All right. Doug says it would almost be worth the drive to Tampa to miss the hurricane front. Doug, I don't blame you, man. If you want to get out of Florida or out of Georgia to miss the hurricane, then man, you can come and hang out at my house if you want to. We'd let you, no problem. Unfortunately, I can't let everybody do that, but we'd put you up. We'd figure out somewhere to get you. B&M Chick says, some quails hatched out yellow. I wasn't expecting that, but this was my first quail hatch. Yeah, those are going to be white birds more than likely. The yellow turns white as they get older. So yeah, you probably got some white birds in there. Hidden bunnies, you are late. No, I'm just kidding. It's better, always better to be here. Yes, be safe indeed. It is hurricane season. EC4 says, hi, I'm back. Finally made it. Hey, glad to see you. I'm glad that, I guess you got the notification. Good to see you. So Hidden Bunny says, my broody baby. I can tell because it's all caps. So congratulations on that. And I guess by you mean had babies, she hatched out the eggs. So great. I'm glad to hear that. It's rare that a Coturnix goes broody, and even then, it's rare that they have good hatch rates. But it does happen from time to time, so count yourself very lucky for that. Congratulations. Joe says, prayers for those affected by the hurricane. Absolutely, I agree with that. We just talked about that a few minutes ago, but it doesn't hurt to bring it up again. And before we finish out tonight, we will do that. Remind me, we got half an hour left. Remind me, and I will make sure that we pray for the people that are affected by the hurricane and for the people in its path. Or their path, I don't know, I think it's two. All right, Lano says, I tried breeding my doe for the second time today, but it seems my buck can't breed her successfully, even though he bred my other rabbit yesterday. Okay, so when you say you can't breed her successfully, I'm assuming what that means is that she probably isn't lifting for him. That's my guess. So again, if you heard what I talked about earlier, it's just a matter usually of just trying again, trying multiple times. A lot of times that doe she'll sit still and he'll mount just like he's going to breed, but she's not lifting for him. And if she doesn't lift her rear end up, he can't breed. So it may not be his problem. It may be the doe that's reluctant. But again, if you just keep trying, morning, night, usually 4 or 5 times, she'll lift. She'll be willing to do that, and it'll be successful. Hopefully that helps with that. All right. Christian says WSP. I don't know what that means. Jeff Egg says 50 pounds for 12 bucks. Where did you buy that? Oh, yeah, I buy it at a feed store in Neosho, Missouri. They mill their own feed. MFA Agribusiness is what it's called. Great store, great quail food, but they mill their own, so you can't just get it everywhere. It's only there. All right. Robin Real True says, Chris, just wanted to thank you for all that you have taught me. My quail are laying eggs. My does are ready to kindle in a few days. You rock. Well, thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate that. And I'm glad to hear that everything is going well for you and that my videos helped out a little bit with that. Thank you for letting me know. All right, Musab says, what's going on with your rabbits? You haven't updated. Yeah, I haven't done any rabbit updates in a while. I need to do that, don't I? I need to get some topics in there. But right now I'm down to just a couple of rabbits. I'm still waiting to try to find some good does to replace the problems I had last season with does. So I don't really have much going on with the rabbits. I don't think I'm going to breed my current doe again. I think I'm going to find a place to give, somebody that wants a pet rabbit or something like that and give them to her. She just doesn't have good litters. She's a mixed breed, I think Flemish Giant and New Zealand cross, and she has like 2-3 babies per litter, and they take forever to grow out. So I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to work on getting some replacement does. I have some lined up that I might get, but it may be a month or two before I get them. So I don't know, if you got some specific rabbit topics you want covered, let me know. I'll definitely cover them. I just don't have much going on in the rabbitry right now. It's going to get back there, though. Don't worry. All right, Hidden Bunny says, by the way, Chris, did you look at my rabbit on my channel? If so, is she a rare breed? I do remember looking at your rabbit, Hidden Bunnies. I don't remember what... I thought I commented on there. I don't remember exactly. But whether it's a rare breed or not, I don't know, honestly. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what rabbit it was. I look at a lot. I get a lot of comments. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to keep up. All right, Doug says, yes, Robin. He's talking to Robin. What did Robin say? I missed it. Anyway, he says, yes, Robin. And they hatched on day 16, dropped by a degree, and they hatched on day 18. Had more problems when I dropped the temp. Yeah, it sounds like you dropped the temp too low if they hatched on day 18. Really, probably maybe raise it up by half a degree if you can, and that might work out, or just go back to where you were, because day 16 is about right for them to start hatching. Hidden Bunny says Pepsi or Sprite. Oh, Pepsi. Always Pepsi or Coke. I'm not really that picky. Caramel-colored, cola-flavored beverage. Whichever one's on sale that week is usually the one that I get. But I am a soda pop junkie. This is a true addiction. I've said this before. Most guys my age have a beer belly, and I have a soda pop belly. So, anyway. All right. Musab says, I had a buck with a doe in the same cage. The doe never had babies, and the buck died. It was very weak. I never saw them breed. The same happened to the buck I replaced it with. What do you think happened? Boy, I don't know. You had a buck and a doe in the same place. Was there a sign of any kind of injury on the buck? Is it possible that the doe killed the buck? Does can get very, very territorial, and especially if you've got them in a small cage. Oftentimes they'll castrate a male. They'll fight with them, and they can kill a male rabbit. So it's really best to keep them separated. Unless you've got a great big area where they can get to their own spaces and she can get away from them and have her own area that she can claim, it's really best to keep them kind of separated. That's my first guess. Other than that, I mean, unless she's got some kind of weird disease where she's a carrier of it and she's passing it on to them, but I don't know right offhand what that would be. Katie says, how much should I sell quail eggs and quail for? Well, Katie, it depends on what people will pay for them. And I know that's kind of a smart aleck answer, but that is kind of the truth. It's what the market bears. Look on like Craigslist and things like that. See if there are people selling them in your area and what they're selling them for. And chances are, especially if you see the same ads coming up over and over and over again, that's probably what the going rate is for them in your area, and you're going to have a hard time getting much more than that unless you have some kind of specialty bird or something like that. Around here, quail eggs usually go for maybe $3 a dozen, fertile eggs, and quail usually go for full grown about $5. And before they're full grown, anything up to about 4 weeks old, they usually go for about $1 each for every week they're all old. So 1 week old would go for $1, 2 weeks go for $2, 3 weeks ago for $3, 4 weeks ago for $4, and then anything after that is about $5. So hopefully that gives you something to start with. But again, look at your market, see what it will bear, and see how it goes. All right. Janice is going to bed. Probably already left because I'm a little bit slow getting to these comments tonight. Janice, have a good night. Thank you for joining in with us on the videos tonight. Hopefully we got all your questions answered, and good luck. The Chick Guy says, my 11-year-old son and I are starting to breed bobwhite quail. What are your biggest mistakes at the start that we could learn from? Well, I don't breed bobwhite quail, so I don't know that I can speak to mistakes with bobwhite quail. As far as my mistakes in the beginning, I don't know that there was a lot of mistakes. It's really not that hard for Coternics. I don't know if there are some special tricks you have to do with bobwhites, though. I'm not an expert on bobwhite quail. I would think that they're going to be pretty close to the same. You probably wouldn't have to do anything really much different with them. You are going to have to make sure they have enough light. If they don't have enough light, they won't breed. They won't lay eggs regularly. But other than that, that's probably about it. I don't know that there were any big mistakes to say, you know, watch out, don't do this. Make sure you have a secure cage. You know, you don't want predators, snakes, and things getting in there and eating them. That's about all I can tell you right offhand. Okay, Baby Coco says, hey, Chris, how are you and your birds and rabbits? Everybody's doing fine. Thanks for coming in tonight. Brian says, now for the rabbit question. I am new to rabbits. Got some from Polyface Farm in Virginia. Had 2 does. Got a fall off on each one, but they showed no more interest. Do you think I will get lucky? Yeah, chances are if you had 1 successful fall off, they're probably pregnant. Now, I always try for like 2 or 3 to make sure. Kind of maybe, my thought is maybe that helps with a bigger litter size. Don't know if it does or not for sure. But yeah, if you had at least 1 fall off, you are probably good. I would count that rabbit as pregnant and get ready with a nest box when it comes time. So good luck. Hopefully it works out. Katie says, any wild guesses on price to sell? I think I already answered that. Ed Hung says, hi, y'all. Hello to you. Robin says, Doug, do you sell? We're in Cherokee County, North Carolina, close to Blairsville, Georgia. I'm not sure what she's asking if you sell. I'm guessing the quail or the eggs or something like that. So who knows? Chris Silver says, hey, Chris, my male quail started crowing a few days ago. Are there any possible ways for the females to crow like males? No, females don't crow like males. Males are the only ones that crow. Females will make a little bit of a sound, but it's pretty quiet. It's not, there's no way you would mistake it for a crow. So if you're hearing them crow, then it is definitely a rooster that's crowing. Hidden Bunny says, I have a hot sauce belly. In fact, I'm drinking hot sauce right now. I'm so weird. You're drinking hot sauce. That's weird. That is weird. I like hot sauce. I like spicy food a lot. But to just drink hot sauce, I don't know about that. That's kind of weird. Doug says, if I can get to a better hatch rate and expand the small flock that I have, I would be willing to make a trade or figure out how to get you some. Get some to you, I should say. What kind of incubator are you using, Doug? I'm wondering. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, Musab says, I bet it is a disease. They don't have any injuries. Okay, you're talking about the rabbits that died. Well, it could be. I don't know what disease that rabbits could carry, unless it's like something like coccidiosis. Some rabbits can be carriers of that and it not kill them, whereas it may kill other rabbits. Do you notice when they die, if you butcher them, do they have white spots on their livers or anything like that? Again, my best guess. I don't really know. I can help out too much with that. I'm trying, though. All right, Lana's Vlog says, I tried helping him by lifting her tail, but it's just not working. Yeah, it's kind of hard to kind of force rabbits, and it's more than just lifting her tail. Hopefully what you mean by that, you put your hand underneath her and lift her whole bottom up. But yeah, that's tough to do. Again, just keep trying, try again, try again, try again. Usually 4 or 5 times, she'll lift for them. Again, same thing we talked about earlier. I don't know why this works, but some people swear by it. Put her in a pet carrier, stick her in your car, drive around the block a few times, bring her back, put her in with the mail. Somehow that's supposed to put the rabbit in the mood. I don't know why. It makes no sense to me, but enough people have said it works that there's got to be something to it. All right. Masab says, does the incubator need to be in an absolute silence over the hatching period? Will any noise or sound affect the eggs? I've not noticed noise or sound affecting them at all, and I can't imagine it would. I don't think so, no. I think it's fine. Baby Coco says, Chris, did you saw the fan art I did for the channel? I don't think I saw that. No. I'm not sure. I guess I missed that. Where was that? You have to tell me. I'll have to take a look. Muhammad said, is keeping quail under shadows fine, or should they have direct sunlight? Okay, good question. They don't need direct sunlight. They just need light. So in the shade is fine. In fact, you probably should keep them in the shade. You at least give them an area where they can get out of the sun in the shade. They don't need to be in direct sunlight all the time, and it's not good for them at all. All right, Hidden Bunny says, I breed bobwhite quail. It's no different, really. The only thing I really can say is I have to have a lower amount of males to females. They are a bit more aggressive, so be careful. Interesting. Good input there. Musab says, any quail alternatives? Well, yeah, there's plenty of alternatives. I mean, you can raise chickens. You can raise, pheasants. You can raise, there's lots of different things you could raise. I don't know of anything that's as prolific as quail are, though, in the bird family. Of course, you could raise rabbits. They're pretty good. Guinea pigs, even. But I don't know of anything that actually produces at the rate that quail do. They're just they grow out so fast. It's just, they lay an egg a day. It's just so much better in the sense. So I don't know of any great alternatives to that, but there's lots of things you could raise. All right, Walter Camp says, I have a radio playing 3 feet above my incubator. Doesn't bother mine. Yep, I wouldn't think it would. Robin Real True says, thanks, Doug. Keep me in mind. Okay. Doug says, it's a 56 site incubator. I got off Amazon. Maintains temp very well and relative humidity. It maintains around 23 to 24%. No water added. I check it daily, and I lock down in a Little Giant. Have you, well, I'm assuming you verified both of them. You said that it looked like a fertility issue, so chances are it's not that the eggs are developing until locking and then not hatching out. I don't know. I'm not familiar with a 56 site incubator. But again, if you verified that the temperature is correct on both of those incubators, I really don't know what could be causing that, unless it's some kind of, it's got to go back to a bacterial thing if it's not a temperature thing. Those are the two things that really come to mind. Yeah, Baby Coco, I probably would need a link if you posted it somewhere. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, Walter Camp's a green shade for the birds. Definitely, I agree. Hidden Bunny says you could raise budgies. Well, you could. I don't know that you'd want to eat budgies, which are parakeets basically. But yeah, that's a thought. And I think it would take a long. I don't think they lay that many eggs, and when they do, I don't know. I would think it would take a long time for those things to grow out. But who knows? It's a thought. Oh, you're looking at Max back here. Hey, buddy. I don't know. Can you guys see him? There he is. He's happy. Happy to be in here hanging out with us. All right. Tanner says, how many quail eggs can you fit in a Little Giant incubator with the egg turner in it? It depends on what egg turner you're using. If you're using the quail rails, I think it's 120 eggs. I don't remember. I think it's 120 with the quail rails. Now, with chicken eggs, it's going to be like 42, I think, with the chicken egg turners. I will say something I forgot to put in the video. I put links in the video about the best incubator I posted the other day, and I put links in there about the incubators I was talking about. One thing I forgot to mention is the Little Giant egg turner comes with chicken egg holders in it. Now, they work. You can use them for quail, no problem. but you're not going to get as many eggs in there. If you want the quail rails, you have to buy the rails separately. It's really easy to switch them out. That's no problem, but you do have to buy. It's an extra expense. You have to buy the quail rails. I've never seen the egg turner go for sale with the quail rails already on it. So, just a thought. All right. Doug says, will do, Robin. I have a few friends at work and around town who have asked me for the same. So when I get a substantial amount, I will definitely let you know. Doug, that's got to be very frustrating. You got a market waiting there. You got people wanting to buy from you, and you can't get your hatch rates up. Man, I wish I could help you out more with that. I just don't know that I have a whole lot of other suggestions. Yep, you're saying, okay, it's a yellow-topped incubator. Not sure of the name, and when I candle in autopsy, the majority of the eggs are totally undeveloped. You know, Doug, I wonder if you shouldn't try maybe hatching completely in your little giant incubator, you know, if you verify the temperature there, and just do the whole hatch in there and see if that affects it. It could be something with that incubator causing a problem, especially if it's maybe sealed up too tight and it doesn't have good airflow. That may be the problem. They may be suffocating before they even start. They have to have air oxygen in order to develop in the egg at all. So that's another thought. I'm kind of stabbing at the dark here. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something. But that's a thought. You might try it. All right. Walter Camp says, chicken egg turner 42, quail turner 120. Yep, you got it. Oh, the video's breaking up again. I'm sorry, guys. It's probably a bandwidth issue. My internet service provider is apparently not that great. It's too late for me to start the video over. If it gets too bad, we may just have to end a little bit early. But Hidden Buddy says, have to go. Have to take my quail guard shift. Something my family does. Well, good luck with that, Hidden Bunnies. Thanks for joining us. And let's see. Bye. God bless and be safe. Remember hurricane season. Yep, absolutely, Hidden Bunnies. You be safe as well. Mahamba says the yellow one read temp on Celsius, not in Fahrenheit. Okay, well, that doesn't matter. Temperature is temperature, whether it's Celsius or Fahrenheit. That does remind me, since we're starting to get some problems with the video, we may have to end early. Hopefully this does not offend you guys. Most of you know I am a Christian. I am going to pray here real quick for the people affected by the hurricane. If it offends you, forgive me, bear with me. I'm not going to be offended by your religion if you're not a Christian, but that's what I am, and I do believe that that prayer is powerful. That prayer does have power. So let me say a quick prayer for the hurricane, the people affected by the hurricane, and if we've still got decent footage, then we'll keep going. So let me do that real quick. So, Father, I come to you today just to praise you, Lord, because you are worthy of our praise. To thank you for the many blessings you give us every day, Lord. Thank you for the abundance that you provide for us, even when most of us, even when we are not getting good hatch rates, even when we're not having good breeding seasons with our rabbits, or the garden doesn't produce well, we're still being able to feed our families every night, Lord. And we thank you for that, for always providing for us. Lord, we ask today a special prayer for those affected by the hurricanes coming up. For all the hurricanes that are coming this season, Lord, we ask that you protect them, that you guard them, Lord, that you help them to make it through these storms safely, that they come out the other side well, that they suffer very little, if any, loss, Lord. Most importantly, Lord, that they remain safe and they remain healthy and through this. Help for quick recovery, help for the aftermath of these storms, Lord, for the volunteers that are going to be providing help there. And we thank you again, Lord, that you are faithful to us and that you always do provide these things, God. We give you all praise and glory for this day, and it is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, where are we at here? Doug says it has 4 vent holes that are about 2 inches wide. I typically leave one open. I'm just stumped. The majority of the babies that hatch are Tibetan and Pharaoh. Interesting. Okay. So 4 vent holes are 2 inches wide. I typically leave one open. You might try opening up more than one. Maybe open up at least 2 of them, especially if they're on opposite sides of the incubator. That might help with that too. Just a guess, man. Oh, excuse me. Get a drink real quick. All right, chat has slowed down. And Walter Camp, God bless you as well. Robin says, thank you for the prayers. You're absolutely welcome. And you too, Joe. All right, how are we doing on time? 10 minutes left in the hour. We got anything else we want to talk about tonight before we wrap up? Because chat has kind of slowed down. Hopefully we got all your comments answered. Hopefully everybody's hatches go well. I will tell you guys my plans kind of for what's coming up. I've got some grow outs in the grow out pen right now. I think, I'm not sure yet, but I think I'm going to make those my future breeders, at least the jumbo browns. Probably going to get rid of all the silvers. I'm going to have a barbecue in a couple of weeks, and that's probably where they'll go, just because it's just not worth it to me to raise two different kinds. It's just, I don't know. I just don't see any value in it necessarily. The silvers are cool little birds. I think they're cool, and that's why I got them to begin with. But I've said this before. It's kind of like that Queen song. Their beauty and their style went kind of smooth after a while. It's just, I've seen them enough that it's not really that exciting anymore. And I like the jumbo pharaohs so much better. They're just so much easier to deal with in so many ways that I think I'm just going to stick with them. So I think that I'm going to replace my current breeders with these guys when they get up to age. I might get one more hatch out of my current breeders, and then we'll see how it goes. But it's going to be probably at least another couple of weeks before I incubate again, because I'm out next week. I don't want to leave my wife having to deal with that. All right. Where are we at here? Samuel Beasley says, our first hatch 50 quail are doing well. We'll see what we get from them at the Goodman Poultry Auction. I'm going to have to check that out sometime. But yeah, great to hear. Congratulations on your first hatch doing well. I have not been to the Goodman Poultry Auction. The thing I remember about Goodman is when I was younger, before they built the new Highway 71, and nobody else is going to get this, but you probably will, Samuel. Well, before they built Highway 71, when I was heading down to Pineville and Knoll and that area down there to go fish and go hang out, I always had to go through Goodman, and it was always a speed trap. There was always a cop sitting in that one spot every single time. Now they got the interstate, so it's not like, I mean, you just go right past it. You don't have to worry about it, but yeah, different. All right, Robin, you have a blessed and safe night as well. Don't know if I'll be here next week or not. I'm going to try. We'll see. If not, it'll be the week after. Boris says, Chris, make t-shirts. Who knows? Maybe I'll make some t-shirts at some point. And let's see. David says, amen. God is good. God is great. Amen. He is indeed. Baby Coco says, Chris, is it okay if you put a link when the live stream is over? Yeah, put a link in the live stream. Now, if Baby Coco, sometimes that may be why I didn't see it. Sometimes links get marked as spam. So, yeah, but you can try. If I don't respond to it, like within a couple of days, sometimes it takes me a couple of days to respond to comments. But if I don't respond within a couple of days, come back and post it again, and we'll see what we can do. If they get marked as spam, they go into a special folder, and I don't ever see those usually. So it's not that I'm intentionally ignoring them. I just don't see them most of the time. Good grief, Brian. Brian says, I have 511 eggs in the incubator, and the last hatch I had was 80%. Wow, that's a big hatch. Jesse Compton says, I just got a chance to get on get on. Just wanted to tell you, I did it, Chris. I set 65 eggs on Sunday. I got it. Yeah, it was a typo. But Jessica, fantastic. Good luck on your upcoming hatch. I'm sure everything's going to go great. If it doesn't, don't give up. Try again. You will get it down. And good job just getting started. That's half the battle right there. Okay, let's see. Doug says, I believe so, but I don't use it. I'm not sure what you don't use. I missed that. Pasha says, hi, Chris. I'm living in Jamaica. We have been experiencing drought, so my garden is all dried up. What can I do to get the earth back to normal now? The biggest thing I think is probably sheet mulch it, which is pretty simple. If you have a lot of weed pressure, you might lay down some like cardboard, just regular corrugated cardboard, not slick, shiny stuff with a bunch of stickers on it. Lay that down. Put some organic matter. I use straw. You could use grass clippings. You can use whatever. Just a couple of inches of that, probably 3-4 inches. It's going to compact down, so it'll look like a lot at first. Go over that if you have it with a layer of like compost or something like that. Just maybe an inch of compost over the top of that layer, and then a top mulch of some kind. I like wood chips. That's my favorite top mulch, but you could use again, grass clippings, you could use straw, you could use all kinds of things on top of that. And let it sit over the winter or over the fall, at least a month or two, something like, a couple of months, probably 3 months would be best. and then you plant right into it. Make sure you move the mulch out of the way, plant into the compost on the top. And by that time, most of that organic matter is going to be deteriorated and gone anyway. It's going to be soil at that point. That's the best thing I've seen. It's very drought tolerant, helps a lot. I usually don't have to water my garden really at all. Now this year, it was very dry out. We were under severe drought status for most of the year, and it did suffer quite a bit. My garden didn't produce that well because I didn't water. But most years I don't have to water at all, and except for to start seeds. When you start seeds, you always have to water to get them sprouted. But once they sprout and get up going, I don't have to water usually at all. So that's my best suggestion. Sheet mulching. You might go watch a video. What's it called? Back to Eden. Back to Eden Garden. There's like an hour-long video on it, and he calls it his Back to Eden Garden. But it's sheet mulching is what it is. It's the same thing. So you can check that out and see what I'm talking about. All right, Doug says, the messenger is all I use anymore. Don't know if it's attached to the account or not. Okay, Brian says, sorry, should have said they were mainly jumbo meat maker and a few silver quail. I missed something, Brad. Oh, 511 in the incubator, and they're all jumbo meat maker and a few silver quails. Well, hey, that's a big hatch either way. Walter, thanks so much for offering to help out. Hopefully that works out. He says he's going to find you, Doug. He's going to help out somehow. Thank you again for helping out, Walter. If you are, Doug, if you are on the Facebook, you can definitely join the Facebook group and still, and comment in there. And we've got a lot of people in there that are willing to help. If not, come back to the live broadcast. Let us know updates of how things are going. We'll do our best to help you out here. Joe says, Chris, is your garden still producing? Mine is all but peppers and eggplant going strong. Yeah, the peppers are going pretty good. I didn't do any eggplant. Everything else I think is pretty much done. I still have some tomatoes ripening on the vines, but it's not producing any new tomatoes. But that's it. Yeah, the season's pretty much over. So not much going on with the garden right now. I need to do preparations. I had weeds come in this year pretty bad. The Bermuda grass made its way in. It's been, good grief, probably 5-6 years. Haven't had a problem with them. This year it actually made its way in. And once it gets in there, it's in there. So I'm probably going to tarp the whole garden with landscape fabric, maybe leave it on for the next couple of seasons, kill off all that Bermuda grass. I wish I could just kill it off in the whole yard, get rid of it. And then we'll go from there. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to still plant into it. I'll just cut holes in the fabric and plant through there, but leave it tarped for a couple of, maybe a season or two. Who knows? All right. EC4 Rabbitry says, well, I have to go. Thanks, and have a good week. Thank you. You have a good week, too. We'll see, Walter and Doug are working out, trying to get connected. I hate to end the live broadcast when you are. Oh, we got a few more minutes anyway, so we'll stay with it. All right, Pasha says, my compost is moving great, so I'm going to use it up in a few days. Thanks for the info. My compose is moving great. Are you talking about compost is going? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Pasha. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Samuel says, start some collards and Brussels sprouts. Yeah, I've got some Brussels sprouts started. Didn't start any collard greens, but I got some spinach and some romaine lettuce going. Interesting thing that happened. I started this stuff a couple of weeks ago, plenty of time, and then I got busy and I completely forgot about them. I didn't water them. I mean, they sprouted, and I got them under lights like I was supposed to, but I completely forgot to water those things. And you know, when you got them started in trays, you have to water pretty much every day. So they all died, so I had to start over again. And I put the trays outside thinking, I'll get to those later, and romaine lettuce popped up. So apparently some of those seeds hadn't. Whenever the rains came in last week, the remaining seeds in there that hadn't sprouted the first time sprouted, and I've got romaine lettuce growing out there. So that's great. It's in trays, but it's doing pretty good. All right. Doug Ewing says, I'll have to get back on it. It's been 5+ years since I've been on the actual account. Thanks, guys. No problem, Doug. You know, I have my love-hate relationship with Facebook. I'm terrible about posting. I'm not very good at it at all. But the Facebook groups really kind of make it worth it to me. We've got a pretty good, group, Slightly Redneck group going. If you can just join. I let everybody join. I approve everybody. If you're a big jerk, we'll kick you out. But so far that hasn't happened. Everybody in there has been incredibly helpful, incredibly friendly. Somebody posts a question, and again, I'm not on Facebook all the time. I don't get on there as much as I need to probably, but usually when I get on there and somebody's posted a question, somebody else has answered it for them. And again, super friendly people. Everybody's willing to help. So you'll get a lot of advice in there and a lot of feedback. Where are we at here? Joe says, I've been fighting native grass. It's terrible. Can it be sprayed next spring with something to help keep it out? You can. Yeah, you can definitely spray it. You know, if you're going to spray it with something like a Roundup or something like that, it has its place. Remember, let's see, what's the... Roundup's like 15 days or something like that, and in the sun, and it deteriorates and it's no longer causes any problems. But yeah, you'd want to do it in the spring for sure. I would suggest tarping it, really. That's the best way, in my opinion, to get rid of it. Just put a tarp over it and leave a tarp over it for as long as you can. If you need to pull the tarp to plant, if you can somehow work around tarping around your plants, it'll do it. Tarps are great. And I say tarp it, I mean, that could be anything. That could be cardboard with some wood chips over it to hold it down. You know, cardboard's going to deteriorate pretty quick, so it's not going to last that long, but it will do the job for a while. And I mean, it could be, I'm going to use landscape fabric because I found rolls of it. It's like 3 foot by 100 foot rolls at Tractor Supply, and they were on clearance for like $1.19. I bought like 10 of them, so it was great. All right, Samuel says, I'm in the Powell pocket. You got more rain than I. Yeah, we did get pretty decent rain. Well, no, we didn't get a ton. It wasn't like flash flood level like they were expecting. It wasn't that bad, but we did get some rain. Doug says, I don't know if I'm working this weekend or not. Typically work 5 days, 12 hours. Okay, you're talking back and forth with Walt. I'll let you guys talk. South Carolina BMW, interesting. Walt, you can give anybody your cell phone you want. Just realize, of course, what we got. Just, yeah, nobody's going to see the live chat after here. And we got 26 people in here. So you're going to put your cell phone number out there for 26 people to have. I don't know that anybody's going to call you. If you want to leave it, feel free. It's not going to bother me. I appreciate you guys working together. You trying to help each other out. I think that's one of the great things about the people that view my channel and that are regulars in the live broadcast and on the Facebook group is that we are so... Everybody in there is so incredibly helpful, so friendly, always willing to lend a hand where they can. And I feel very blessed to have this group of people that I can be a part of. All right. SpongeBob's here. Says, I have 4 side-by-side cages. What would be the best watering system? 4 side-by-side cages for what? Are we talking quail or are we talking rabbits? Rabbits, I always use water nipples. They plug into a hose. I've done videos on that, and for the quail, I like the little water cups that have the little yellow plunger they hit to get water out of. I've done videos on those as well, so you might look back in my section 4. Yeah, quail, okay. I did a video not too long ago. It'll be under the Caternix Quail playlist heading, and you may have to scroll down through there a little ways, but I did a video on putting together a watering system for them. Now, here's the other thing. We're getting close to wintertime. I don't know where you live, but here that means freezing water. That's not going to work in the wintertime. You might wait till spring to start it. In the wintertime, I switch over to water bowls, basically. And actually what I use is kind of like my feeders. They're like Tupperware containers with holes cut in them and a lid on them. That's the reason I use those. Because, well, in Louisiana, you may not have to worry about it then. Depending on what part of Louisiana you live in, if it doesn't get down below freezing, then go for it. But look back. That'll show you how I built that system. It'll show you what I use. And it will give you the, I think there's a link even in there where you can go buy them. It's an affiliate link, so if you buy, I might get 10 cents or something off that. But there's probably a link there that shows you where you can go buy the water cups and all that stuff. My opinion, they work great. They're the best I've used. All right, guys, I got to get this wrapped up. I don't know if Walter got to, let's see where we at here. Walter, I don't know if you got your cell phone number left out there for him. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you guys can connect. And I got to get this wrapped up, though. Hey, Armed American is here. We missed you. Can you send private messages to people? I wonder. Oh, interesting. I don't think I can. I don't know how to do that. All right, guys. I got to get this wrapped up and get out of here. Hopefully you got that. Good. Got it. Yep, Armed American, we were praying for you guys earlier. Hang in there and be safe, man. I got to get this wrapped up, guys. Thanks so much for joining tonight. Appreciate it. Every week when you guys do join, everybody stay safe this week, especially those impacted by hurricanes. And hopefully we'll get on next week, but more than likely it's going to be 2 weeks out. God bless each and every one of you. Have a good night, and we will see you soon. Take care.